Here's the best Call of Duty graphic settings. It will help you get the most FPS and good quality or best visuals in the game. The first tip I can give you is if you want the most FPS, just put all your settings down. Other than that, follow my guide on how to make your game look pretty and get the most FPS out of it. First thing you want to do is head over to your settings tab. Let's go. Under the display tab, a few things I'm going to go through that you don't need to do exactly like how I do it. However, it is going to be personalized to your computer. The first thing is display mode. On display mode, I'm playing on borderless mode. This is due to me being a streamer and I need to be able to go between screens without alt-tabbing out of the game. Other than that, if you are just a gamer, use full screen exclusive mode. What this mode will do is it will actually make your game's input lag decrease and actually give you a tiny little bit of an FPS improvement. Make sure that your screen resolution rate is set to the actual rate of your screen, as this does impact on how the game feels on your actual screen. If you have a higher than a 60Hz screen, make sure that you put it in selected and make sure your frames is not kept, but I'll get back to that one. Let's go to NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency. What Reflex Low Latency does is it helps you with your PC's responsiveness between the CPU and GPU. So if you want to set it to on plus boost, this will mean you are CPU bound, meaning your CPU is struggling under heavy load. Or if you are GPU bound, you set it to on, which means your GPU is struggling and you need your CPU to help your GPU out. This is why you want to choose which one. The way you can check is by going to your task manager and playing the game, or doing a benchmark and checking which one is bottlenecking your computer. Then you want to set all of these settings off, and then by custom frame rate, like I said earlier, depending on your refresh rate of your screen, you can set this custom rate to what your screen is. This, however, means your PC does not need to work as hard to push as many frames up. But if you don't care about limiting your frames, you can do what I do and put it to unlimited. Everything else is just off, it doesn't matter. Then if we want to go to quality tab, you want to set your render resolution to 100. Now you can change it to 90, and to do this will make your game look a little bit bad. However, will give you a little bit of a FPS boost. This is in a scenario where you are struggling to get the frames you desire out of your PC. Then put it a bit down. Then you have upscale sharpening. So I run it at fidelity cast. The reason for this is I want my game to look crisp, sharp, and clear. And this is basically what this does, because if you don't put it on fidelity cast, it basically gives you like a smudged version of Call of Duty. So what I do is I run fidelity cast and I set the strength up to 100. Again, however, if you are struggling with frames, you can either put it on off, because fidelity cast does make you lose frames. You can either put it on off, or you can set it on DLSS or FSR3, depending on what GPU and CPU you have on your machine. AMD frame generation, you want to set this off. This will basically just give you a heavy input delay. However, if you want the frames and you don't mind the input delay, put this on. It will literally boost it over 200. VRAM scale target, set this to 90, or if you're having stuttering issues, set it to 60 or 70. This will basically reduce the stuttering issue. Call of Duty does have VRAM leaking. The Call of Duty starts using more RAM than what it's supposed to, or what the target is that you're setting here, and then start causing stutters in your game. Variable rate shading, you can turn this on. I have no flipping clue what this does. All I know is this actually increases your frames by a lot. So then there's only two settings here that I want you to care about. It is the texture resolution and the texture filter and the stropping. What these two ones does is it will make your game look actually pretty. By turning these two settings off will make your game look a little bit worse. So what I would recommend is setting it to normal and on high. Your game will look crisp and beautiful, but if you require more FPS, just set it to absolutely low and very low. Well, I wouldn't go very low, we'll go low at the most, because very low the game literally looks like you're playing it on a Game Boy. Okay, let's go to depth of field, detail quality low. Basically everything from here on off. Shader quality definitely off. If you have this on, this will eat your frames up. Everything low, 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 low. Shadow quality, I will basically say do put this on very low if you want FPS. However, if you want your shadows to look a bit decent, I recommend setting it on normal. Oh, I missed this one, but on demand texture streaming, make sure that you set this to minimal. Make sure you set this to minimal. What this basically does, it starts using your internet to download textures from Call of Duty. So if you have a slow internet, this can actually cause you lag inside of Call of Duty. Going all the way down to environment, all of this, just turn this off. This will make you lose FPS. Then let's go to the view tab, chat. On the view tab, we got motion reduction preset. Turn this off. Field of view, this is a complete preference to you. Note, the higher you put your field of view, the smaller the target gets and the less recoil you will feel on the game. ADS field of view, you can also put on affected. This also comes in play with this field of view. So when you have affected, the field of view stays the same when you're ADS. So just a FYI, on field of view, the pros likes to play from 110 to 220. So pick whatever fits for you there. If we scroll up or down to world, motion blur in weapon, motion blur, turn this to offset. This will basically make your game look horrible. I don't know who likes playing with these settings on. You are a weird person. Never use this setting, please. And then first person camera movement. Now this is a little bit of a secret sauce. On the setting, what it does is if you set it from default to 50, it actually decreases your weapon bounce when you start shooting in the game, or your camera movement when you start shooting. So your visual recoil will basically become non-existent. This is all I have for you guys from a Call of Duty's perspective. Let's hop into the secret source. This is the Call of Duty config file. So what you want to do is you want to open up your Explorer, go to Documents, click on Call of Duty, click on Players, then look for the S10 COD 24 file, and make sure you right click on it and say Open With, and you say Notepad. Alright, so now what you want to do is press Ctrl F and search the first word. We're going to search corpse. So with corpse, you want to limit the amount of corpses laying in the game. This means the dead bodies. You want to limit this to 0. So change that amount, and whatever amount you see there, where you change this to 0, this limits the amount of bodies that you will see laying dead, meaning your PC is not going to need to work that out to render those bodies. Then the next thing we want to go into is called blood. So blood effects limits, you want to set this to true. This means the blood, whenever the blood spatter happens, you turn this off. It makes no visual, like any visual thing for you anymore, meaning you won't gonna see any like visual clutter in your face when you're shooting someone. And also you will save some FPS on this. There's another blood effect. I'm gonna just look for it quick. It's called blood effect interval. Make sure that you set this, whatever value you have there, set it to 1. We basically bring it to the most limited amount we can put this on. And then you want to look for show blood and show brass. You want to type the words in false. I think yours will say true, then in false. So what this does is it will no longer show the blood, and by show brass, brass meaning the bullet cells coming out of the gun is no longer there as well. By changing this, you will basically turn this off. Then the most important one is called the render worker count. Type the word render and then start searching with the render worker count. Here we go, render worker count. Right, so you want to set this equal to the amount of cores you have. If you are AMD, equal to the amount of cores you have on your CPU. So you can just right click, task manager, and then performance, click on your CPU. Whatever that core says there, that's the value you put in there. So I have 6, so I set mine to 6. So now just an FYI, if you are Intel user, from my understanding, it is whatever the amount is minus 1. But however, I'm not quite sure. I don't have an Intel machine, so I won't be able to advise you on that. So just go through the numbers and see which one gives you the best FPS. But from my understanding, 6 to 8 is basically the best ones you can select in the scenarios. After applying all of these settings, make sure you restart your game. You should get more frames. Let me know in the comments down below if you did get more frames. If you did not, let me know so that I can obviously check on my video and make improvements for the next one. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one.